EA canceled Black Panther, shut down Cliffhanger Games, and fired a very racist staff, allegedly. Now, to be clear, this Danny Lalonde's person was no longer working at Cliffhanger Games as of May 2024. So that is a full year or so ago from now. But that doesn't mean that she had no impact on the direction of the company. In fact, I would argue, based off of the clip that we've seen, and we've all seen it, we'll share it. Let me share it real quick here just to remind everyone. This person could have an impact that would destroy and rot an entire studio.
I have a team of 21 right now for Validate. It's a pretty big team. It's a crazy big team for indie games. But who is your team? Validate has a team of mostly all people of color. We have no white people on our team. I did that because I wanted to create a safe environment. And I know the best way for an environment to be safe is to be around people who are just like me.
Okay, so right there, she says that she will not hire white people because they are not like her, which clearly she's retarded or racist. I would argue both, because that is illegal. You can't do that. and for this to get out there, this is one of those videos that should end your career. Like, this should be you legit fries in the bag the rest of your life if you say that. You're not going to be running any teams or in charge of any corporation. No one's going to hire you. Nobody's going to send loans to you. No one's going to support. Like, no, that shit doesn't fly. That can't fly. And the fact that she was hired by EA and said this and did not lose her job immediately after this came to light, I have no words. She kept her job for another, was it 5 months? 5 or 6 months. I don't know if she left on her own or if she was fired, let go, or what happened. But the fact that she kept her job for almost half a year after this happened says more about EA than anything.
And I'm not saying that white people in the industry are creating unsafe environments.
You just said that. You literally just said, I don't hire white people because they make me feel unsafe. And then you followed it up with saying, I'm not saying white people make me feel unsafe. I'm not saying that. But that's what you just said. It's almost like I said, you're retarded. So you say something and your brain is really slow and it finally caught up to what you said. And you're like, oh shit, I already said all of that. Time to say I didn't say that.
I'm not saying that. That is not what I'm saying. I am saying that sometimes it is hard to work with white people because
She's backed herself into a corner right now. She's like, oh, fuck. Not saying white people make me scared. I'm just saying it's hard to work with white people because what is the socially acceptable terminology for being racist against white people?
Think that something made it okay, but it was really a microaggression.
Oh, it's always the white person's fault. It's a microaggression because white people bad. Like, first off, yikes.
And no one wants to deal with that while you're trying to make a game that they love.
Could you imagine not just working with this Danny character? Could you imagine her being your manager? And her having this attitude every day? I'd be like, holy shit. Like, first off, walking HR nightmare. These are the people that lawyers dream about. Like, they're like, oh my God, this person's perfect. I'll have a job forever. So that was the clip that was making the rounds about a year and a half ago or so. And I remembered that the second it happened. And as soon as I heard that Black Panther was canceled and Cliffhanger Studios was closed, I was like, whatever happened to that chick that was hardcore racist that worked there? And then I started digging and I was like, oh my God, this is going to follow her around forever. King of the Monsters says $20. She's secretly into white dudes. Dude, you need to donate $20 to me. But anyways, Merrick Tominsky, which speaking of based developers, he's the CEO of CI Games, and he said, interesting. And Madame Savvy replied, one of the writers, Alexa, gave a GDC talk about infantile.
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
Not you, the other one. About infantilizing your language and using Tumblr speak. The team was full of people who had no business working on a game. And yes, she is a former journalist turned EA writer turned unemployed. And if you're not familiar with this person, she was the other person that I spotlighted on my video today, where she's actually buddy with Alyssa Mercante. And there's an exchange on X that people were sharing quite a bit last year when this came to light. Alyssa said, I don't support all gamers. Most of you are bigots, which, again, this is at the time when Alyssa worked at Kotaku saying this. Working in the game industry, hating the people that are paying your bills is wild to me. But hey, how'd that work out for you? You've lost your job and now you're suing someone because you can't take accountability still. And then we have Alexa Ray Correa, who at the time, I believe, worked at GameSpot, who said, need this on a shirt. And then she went on to work at EA and make a game for gamers, saying that most gamers are bigots. I mean, they're not even hiding it at this point. But anyways, Savvy shared this. This is game developer, says, in her GDC 2025 talk, game writer Alexa Ray Correa explains why developers should embrace baby girls, pookies, and himbos. What? Okay, for this to make sense, I need you to understand what a baby girl is. A baby girl is, as writer and narrative designer, why are these people so fucking weird? Why are they always so weird? Just why can't you just be normal? Odin Darkle says it gets much worse. Oh boy. She explained in her 2025 Game Developers Conference talk a character that everyone can agree is a bit traumatized, but secure in their masculinity, attractive, sensitive, and vulnerable, but not weak. He's probably over the age of 25 and may have soft reasons to make hard decisions. Korea's example was Clive from Final Fantasy 16. Oh boy. Still with me? No, I'm not, but whatever. Good. Let's talk about a meow. Now, full disclosure, I did not read this before the stream tonight, so I'm coming in hot on this. And what? A meow refers to a villainous or morally gray character who fans are inspired to care for or comfort amid all the terrible things happening to them. Do not confuse a meow with a wooby. A wooby refers to a more heroic character. You might want to just give a big hug. If that one's confusing, think about the difference, and that's where it cuts off. But we're getting some insight from how these people's brains, if they have them, function, and how they invent words, have this entire headcanon, and it completely explains how they are just so different. Nerdy mechanic. A wooby is something entirely different to the military peeps. KJ Vilperito Baracho says, "What the fuck are even all these words?" I feel like it's almost like you're taking a test and you have to like write an essay, and the teacher is like asks you something you have no idea about. So you just start making up words and then telling the teacher what the words mean. And then trying to explain to the teacher, oh, this is what that means. This is what that means. Oh, you don't understand. I'm smarter than you because I actually invented all these words. One Gun Ninja says, it's sickly strange how dead set these writers are about manipulating an audience. It truly is a sickness. And the fact that the gaming industry entertain these views and this sort of behavior points to a much larger, more nefarious issue at hand, which I would 100% agree with. It's very well said there. On top of this Alexa Ray Correa girl having the GDC talk in 2025, Danny Lalanders, who is also doing GDC talks. And you start to wonder, like, who is platforming these people? How the hell, in what reality, should this person ever be in front of other people telling them how things are? How is this person in any position of any power ever, anywhere, ever? Like, ever. It's insane to me. Not only they're being platformed, but they're being praised by colleagues. No, like what are we doing here? But these people continue to get platformed. And I don't know who is the puppet master for allowing it to happen. But holy crap. This person, Danny Lalanders, started as a receptionist at Little Kitty's Daycare Center and did that for almost 8 years, part-time. And then made the leap from that to narrative writer at Soft Not Weak, where she was hardcore racist. And then, oh, imagine my shock, brought on as a narrative designer at Sweet Baby Inc. And then ushered into the fucking AAA game industry under EA's umbrella as an associate narrative designer for Cliffhanger Games. Now, you guys saw when I went through these arcs of these other actual employees from other companies like at Bethesda, how they started out as quality assurance, how they started out as game master and worked their way up after decades and decades, 19 years, 11 months to become the studio and production director. And then we look over at a obvious DEI hire, and they're just like receptionist at Little Kitty's Daycare, narrative writer, narrative designer, and now you're working in the fucking AAA game industry in 2 years at a very big time position on a massive property. And oh, imagine my shock when the project goes to shit. You lose your job and the company shuts down and everyone's fired. Big shock. Big round of applause. How brave, stunning and brave for the hiring crew for bringing these people and doing that with them. I hope you're happy that hardworking people that busted their ass to get to those positions lost out to this. And now everyone else at that company doesn't have a job anymore. Hope it was worth it. These people are completely rotting the game industry. And you just know she's going to end up somewhere else and be brought on at another game company. You know that. After having zero skills, not proving herself anywhere, and proving to everyone that she's a hardcore racist, and yet somehow is speaking at GDC 2026. Go figure. Ravixi for the DKK20, who says, mental illness detected. Yep. And instead of getting the help they need, they're getting propped up by companies that I have no idea. I used to think it was because they get low interest loans and BlackRock and Vanguard are supporting them. But if they're all going out of business right now, sounds like that money train ran out.